Today we're going to talk about best-of-breed Mac management. And this is becoming more and more of a hot topic today. We're seeing more and more Mac come into businesses and schools. Really, the numbers have doubled of Apple devices in schools and businesses over the last couple of years. And with this, surge of Apple devices coming into the enterprise and education environments, IT teams are being challenged more and more with being able to scale Mac fleets and secure them and ensure that they have the right resources. So that's going to be our topic today. This will be a great webinar for you if you're evaluating solutions to manage Mac, if you're seeing an uptick in Mac in your environment, or if you just want to learn about the topic in general. My name is Jason. I'm a product marketing manager here at Jamf. And for today's agenda, we will discuss the challenges or some common challenges associated with managing Mac in schools and businesses that are faced by both IT teams and with the business or school. We'll also discuss some solutions, various different solutions that can be used to mitigate those challenges and help you manage your fleet of Macs. And we'll also discuss best-of-breed tools, which are a class of solutions that are purpose-built for managing Mac OS X. First, let's begin with some common challenges that IT teams and organizations face when they're looking to scale and secure a fleet of Mac computers. IT departments really have a challenge of needing to gain visibility into the technologies that they have in their environment. They also need to be able to deploy technologies at scale, and all while working within the framework of the organization that they support. So some IT organizations need to be able to automate deployments. Others want to have more of a hands-on approach where they can actually physically deal with the devices, and yet other organizations are better fit for a solution that offers self-service and gives the users the freedom to support themselves. And lastly, IT teams also are challenged with being able to secure corporate resources and prevent data loss. So when there are resources deployed to the devices via management tools or other tools, or by the users themselves, it's important that IT has the ability to gain visibility into those tools and secure them. So all of these things have to be accomplished while dealing with unexpected support needs and environmental variables, as well as user expectations that come from the users as they bring their own Mac into your environment, or you provide one for them. And so IT teams, the reason why they're having to deal with inventory deployment and security challenges are really because these technology capabilities help mitigate underlying business challenges. And a few of those would be that businesses and schools need to always try to control and reduce cost. And this is something that a solid inventory and asset management solution can help with. But this is a foundational element, of course, with any business or school to be able to continue to operate, is to ensure that costs are controlled. And that's where an inventory of licensed software and warranty information and things like that within a tool for Mac management can help with those things. Businesses and schools must also be able to scale their infrastructure. And this is something that can be accomplished with a management tool that offers flexible and automated deployment tools. And finally, businesses need to be able to mitigate risk and control security, which can be accomplished with the enforcement of enterprise security features within a device management solution. So a little context here: as many organizations evaluate technology solutions, IT teams need to understand whether or not the solution that they're evaluating or selecting has utility, meaning that it's built for purpose, and ensure that it also has warranty, meaning that it's built for use. So when it comes to a best-of-breed Mac management solution, or any solution you're looking to manage your Macs with, of course, for that matter, you need to ensure that this solution is purpose-built and it either supports performance and, in other words, helps IT deploy, secure, and report on technology as needed, or that it removes constraints, it removes constraints. So maybe constraints associated with cost, risk, scale, things of that nature. And then if it does either of these things, then it has utility. Next, the question has to be asked, is the solution built for use? In other words, is it available enough? Does it have capacity enough? Is it continuous enough? And is it secure enough? And it really needs to be all these things to be fit for use. If you see that all of these things are the case, then you have warranty. And if you have both of these things fit for purpose and fit for use, you have value. And you will be adding value with the solution that you select. So keep these concepts in mind as we talk through some of the solutions today. So now let's review a few different classes of solutions pertaining to Mac management, including open source and freeware solutions, multi-platform solutions or single console solutions, as well as best-of-breed solutions. I want to throw a little disclaimer out there that the right solution for your organization will vary depending on your unique business and user needs, the unique atmosphere in your environment, your culture, your infrastructure, your size, the size of your Mac population, and plenty of other variables. So you can't really prescribe one particular solution to everyone. Everyone will have different needs. Everyone has different resources, skills, talents, and strengths on hand. But this webinar is going to kind of outline a few, some of the advantages and disadvantages of each, and kind of help you make an informed decision. First, we have freeware and open source tools. And this class of tools might include tools like Monkey, Deploy Studio, Puppet, NetInstall, NetRestore rather, Apple Remote Desktop, Profile Manager, tools like that. And usually these tools are singular in purpose. Some of these tools might enable you to build and deploy packages, while others would enable you to configure and deploy preferences of security profiles and things like that. Others might allow you to image machines. But few of these solutions that are out there that are open source are really kind of support full life cycle management, device life cycle management. And often these tools can be very challenging to configure if you don't have the right skill set in-house. They can be difficult to configure and implement, and they often don't come with support, professional services, or training. So you might be left with having to train someone else, and that could be very costly. Or if you have someone that leaves your organization and they're the only person that has the keeper of the keys, you might kind of be left with your pants down and not be able to actually support what has been built in your environment. So you have to be careful with that. If you buy a solution, obviously you're going to have that expense that in terms of purchasing the solution. But there are solutions out there, both single console and best of breed, that will enable you to support full lifecycle management of the device. And therefore you require less resources, and you'll also have the ability to gain access to support and training and so forth. So the advantages of these freeware and open source solutions is that they can be, they're free, first of all, many of them, not all of them, but some of them. And they're also open source, which means they can be integrated and customized, and with the right level of skill and expertise, that can be very useful. So this meets the purpose of really reducing cost also. The disadvantages include a steeper learning curve and with no training or support and maybe even potential security concerns. And this can be due to lack of documentation, contracts, SLAs, and things of that nature that come with a paid tool. So the purposes of reducing risk and scaling technology may not really be fully fulfilled by these solutions. And again, this all depends on the unique needs that you have in your environment, as well as the resources and skill sets that you may or may not have in-house. Multi-platform solutions are focused on providing support for all operating systems that reside within a certain environment. And these can be a really great tool for IT teams looking for a basic level of management and sort of a common user experience across all platforms. However, these challenges can include an inability to support more granular, deeper management capabilities within a given platform. They don't always take into account the different core capabilities within each platform and may not consider the management needs and the needs of the users, as they may drastically differ across platform boundaries. So the advantages of a single solution or a single console solution, multi-platform solution, whatever you might want to call it, to manage all device platforms include that you do have a single pane of glass reviewing all devices in the environment and managing them. You have the ability to consolidate all management into a single solution, which makes it a little bit more streamlined and easy. And then only having to manage one price and one vendor relationship can streamline sort of your supplier management processes. And then you have the ability to create feature parity across platforms for consistency of management, which again, that might be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on your environment. The disadvantages include the inability to be flexible, as you might have all your eggs in one basket. There may be an inability to provide an advanced level of focus and support for a single platform, as the focus of these tools are much more broad, so they're not purpose-built. Another disadvantage is that organizations may have different groups and resources that are managing different platforms, and they may not all agree on the same tool, and having the same tool across different groups with different needs and challenges might also kind of put too many hands in the pie and cause complexity. Feature parity can be a good thing, but it also can be a bad thing, and that is that users expect a certain experience on a particular platform. So if you have a choice program or a BYOD program where users are choosing a specific platform, the user doesn't want to have the same experience on an iPhone that they have on an Android, or the same experience on a Mac that they have on a Windows PC. And so that can actually be a barrier to some productivity. It can cause issues in your environment. And to some extent, with feature parity across different platforms, you may not be getting the full set of advantages that you might get out of a platform-specific tool. So there are technologies like Apple deployment programs, for example, where they aren't offered on other platforms. So you don't want to not support them on the Apple platform, but you're not going to be able to provide that same consistent experience on other platforms. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it can be challenging to provide or require feature parity. Within a subcategory of multi-platform solutions are enterprise mobility management solutions, which use MDM to manage Macs. And the advantage of using these solutions are really the same as other multi-platform or single console tools, as well as the ability to support new management innovations from Apple. So as Apple builds more and more MDM commands into OS X, these solutions are really going to be on the right path and will continue to support new innovations from Apple in the MDM spec. The disadvantages are that that MDM also suffers the same pitfalls we discussed with single console solutions. And they also typically lack capabilities such as modular deployment, imaging capabilities, package creation and deployment, to name a few. Full disk encryption are missing. These are a lot of features that are really required to fully manage OS X that are missing from a lot of MDM solutions that are out there today. And they're really needed to successfully manage and scale OS X. So while they may address short-term needs right now with what is available in MDM, these solutions currently are kind of insufficient for large-scale deployment and management because they're not purpose-built for the OS X architecture. Now let's talk about what best-of-breed tools are and what they may look like. If Gartner defines best-of-breed as purchasing software from different vendors to obtain the best-of-breed offering for each application area. And in other words, purchasing software with a very specific purpose and use case in mind, such as purchasing a purpose-built tool for managing OS X, and then purchasing a separate tool that's best-of-breed for managing PCs, instead of buying, kind of going the one ring to rule them all route. So, at Jamf, we believe you should use the right tool for the job. The value of a management tool is a combination of its platform functionality as well as its ability to leverage an ecosystem of integrated services. So when I say platform functionality, I mean a policy engine, agents or binaries on the device that can be taken advantage of, inventory, transport mechanisms, automation, and then from the ecosystem perspective for OS X, it's things like being able to leverage things like the device enrollment program, volume purchasing program, File Vault 2, software update server, GSX or Global Service Exchange, MDM, all these different things that are part of the Apple ecosystem. So if you don't invest in a best-of-breed tool and you choose freeware instead, really you get to make up the difference. So you get to train yourself, you get to support it yourself, you get to piecemeal it together, and it may be very time-intensive, and you might not be able to get as far as you'd like to go. It might not scale well. Also, if you choose one console, and that in our opinion, I think at Jamf, one console really shouldn't be your ultimate goal. The most important thing to you when you're evaluating solutions should be the efficiency in management, and that should be your primary goal. So for us at Jamf, best-of-breed Mac management is a lot of things. It's features and capabilities to support inventory, deployment, and security of OS X within the OS X architecture. It's supporting OS X within the Apple ecosystem. It's keeping up with Apple innovation and providing zero-day support for new operating systems. It's offering a whole product experience, including support, training, and professional services. And it's a community of people all working together to solve the same problems. So from a technology perspective, and Casper obviously is not the only best-of-breed tool available out there to manage Mac. There are others you could evaluate. Obviously, since we know Casper and that's the product that we offer, I'll talk a lot more about Casper today in the context of framing up of what a best-of-breed solution looks like. But from more broad perspective, best-of-breed Mac management tools should offer things like a dynamic and customizable inventory and reporting capability. It should offer flexible device provisioning options like nuke and pave imaging or monolithic imaging, the ability to create and deploy software packages on top of a factory OS if you don't want to do nuke and pave imaging, the ability to provision devices via self-service, so different device provisioning options, as well as being able to leverage Apple's device enrollment program. A best-of-breed solution should support software package creation, distribution, and updates. App Store app and eBook distribution, software and app license management, so being able to leverage VPP from Apple, as well as third-party software license management, full disk encryption and settings management, as well as self-service for end users. So a little bit more in depth about some of these things. A best-of-breed tool should have an automated inventory upon which when you enroll devices into the device management solution, it should be able to have those devices check in, collect a broad range of inventory elements, and be able to allow you as an IT administrator to leverage those inventory attributes to automate deployments of security settings, software applications, and content. And as well as leveraging a binary on a device, which should be a part of a best-of-breed solution as well, to create custom scripts to gather then automatically custom inventory fields to add to your inventory and scope additional deployments to. Best-of-breed tools should support full disk encryption via File Vault 2 on OS X and offer settings management via configuration profiles within the MDM spec, things like wiping devices, locking devices, enforcing passcodes, and so on and so forth. A best-of-breed solution should offer a myriad of different options to you as an IT administrator to provision devices, like being able to image machines via Thunderbolt, if you want to do it that way, or over the air via NetBoot, being able to leverage Apple's device enrollment program for zero-touch enrollment so that users can go through the native setup assistant when devices are received by them and automatically have their devices enroll in your management solution. Software distribution should be something that's part of a best-of-breed solution. So with third-party software, a tool that's best-of-breed should be able to create packaged software, assemble the packaged software into sort of, let's say, playlists of different pieces of software and scripts, and then deploy those to users. From an App Store perspective, a best-of-breed tool should be able to assign and distribute Mac App Store apps to users, as well as to, with paid apps, be able to then revoke, retain, and redistribute app licenses in the event that that's needed. A best-of-breed tool should be able to update both third-party software as well as Mac App Store apps by integrating with Apple's software update server or a local one. A best-of-breed tool should also be able to support content distribution, such as eBook distribution and the distribution of files like PDFs and such. And a best-of-breed tool should offer self-service to users. This is a big part of the Mac experience. Mac users have long since had to support themselves. They prefer that. They want a native experience on their Mac. In many environments, Mac has kind of existed long before management started to come and say we want to bring these devices into our management solution and start to secure them and configure them. So users like to have a sense of autonomy, and it's also very important to provide self-service so that users can get access to the tools they need when they need them, and you can provide access to resources and have installation take place and run scripts and all at the user's convenience to prevent disruption to their workflows. And then also being able to support third-party license software management as well as warranty management by AppleCare. So best-of-breed isn't just about a product or features. It also means managing OS X at a foundational level. It's important to have a binary that speaks directly to the core operating system with a best-of-breed tool so that you can actually run scripts and do more advanced management than just with MDM. It also means supporting Mac in the overall Apple ecosystem, alongside of iPhones and iPads by supporting programs such as the Device Enrollment Program and the Volume Purchasing Program. It means supporting the user at the center of that universe and empowering the user with tools like self-service. And then it also means integrating into existing Windows infrastructure or any other kind of technology infrastructure that you have in-house by leveraging things like SCCM or Altiris plugins and offering a standard REST API so that you can integrate data from that device management solution into any other technology platform in your environment. So you're also going to want to make sure that you have services available to you if you implement a best-of-breed solution, and any best-of-breed solution should come with a services team that will help you get set up so that you can be successful from day one, as well as continued service engagements, on-site consulting, and so on and so forth. So here at Jamf, for example, we provide every new customer with what we call a jump start, which is either remote or on-site and or remote site assistant to get your installation set up, get you trained and ready to go. And then from there, we do have programs like our Encompass program that offers continued consulting. When it comes to training, any best-of-breed tool should come with a good training program. Here at Jamf, we do offer industry-recognized certifications, and we're Apple Certified Training Center. So this is a really important part because what support and services can do from any supplier is provide you with knowledge and ensure that your solution stays available to you. But we want to make sure, with the best-of-breed tool, that the expertise that we have in-house is actually transferred to you, and that you can become more and more efficient and make your life easier. So here at Jamf, we certified thousands of Apple IT administrators, and we offer over 3,000 classes per year globally. When it comes to support, you want a best-of-breed tool to offer dedicated support technician. You'll want 24/7 support, of course, and you want to make sure that support team is providing industry-leading support. And you want to make sure that you actually have people that you're working with within the support department that are Apple IT experts so that they understand the unique needs of macOS 10 and they can help you no matter what arises. And lastly, a best-of-breed solution should come with a community of Apple IT administrators that are knowledgeable and available and helpful. And if you haven't yet been to Jamf Nation, go and check it out. It is a community. It's actually the largest online community of Apple IT administrators in the world. There are over 22,000 members, and there are over 40 new discussions posted every day about the topics of Apple IT. So really great opportunity to learn more about Apple IT and become more involved. So let's do a quick walkthrough and demo of the Casper Suite. And again, Casper is just one example of a best-of-breed tool that might be available to you. Within the Casper Suite, we have Recon, which is a tool that allows you to enroll devices into the Casper Suite or into the Jamf software server, or JSS, which we'll talk about in a moment. We have a tool called Composer that allows you to build software packages in DMG, MPKG, or PKG formats so that you can then assemble them via our Casper admin tool into along with scripts and other packages, and then deploy them either via the Jamf software server, once again we'll talk about in a moment, or via Casper Imaging as you image new machines. And Casper Imaging supports both local imaging via the Thunderbolt, so we call that target mode imaging, and then there's also imaging over the air using NetBoot. And then we also offer Casper Remote, which is a solution that allows you to remote control devices that are in your environment that are enrolled in your management infrastructure, or in the Casper Suite rather. You can either remotely control the devices, you can see the devices remotely so that you can help support your users. And all of these are actually native OS 10 applications that will reside on the IT administrator's machine. Here are some quick screenshots. This is what Recon looks like. So this would allow you to either enroll a single device. We also allow devices, of course, to enroll via user-initiated enrollment. They can be enrolled during imaging. We also support Cisco ISE, or Cisco ICE rather, so that devices joining the network can automatically be detected and redirected to self-enroll. But this is one way and a good way to discover a lot of new devices in your network, as long as you have the right firewall rules in place and And you also have SSH turned on your machines. You do have to have that, and you have to have an account on the machines. So there's a little bit of prerequisites. But if you do have some of those in place, you can use Recon to actually scan a range of IPs and bring a bunch of devices under management all at once. Composer allows you to both drag and drop flat packages into Composer and create assemble different packages together and along with preferences and settings. Or you can take a snapshot where you take one before, you make changes on your computer, you make another one, and then you can create a DMG or MPKG or PKG package to then assemble via Casper admin and deploy to your users. So this is another thing where it's really cool when you actually create a package in Composer. You can then also, if you can see down there toward the middle of the screen along that gray bar, it's a little small, I'm sure, but you can actually define the various different permissions that will be allowed for the user once this is installed for that specific package. Once again, we have Casper imaging that will allow you to do target mode imaging via Thunderbolt or imaging over the air via NetBoot. We also support the ability for you to image machines with packages on top of Factory OS if you desire to do that. You can also go ahead during imaging and deploy scripts, printers, all sorts of things, accounts that you can set up during imaging. There's a lot of really granular capability, and unfortunately I don't have a ton of time to show too much of this. But we're going to go ahead now and dive into the JSS, which is really the heart of the Casper Suite. So I got to go to reload the page here. This is the Jamf software server, or JSS. We're going to do a really quick demo of the JSS. This is a web-based application, and once you have all your packages created in Casper, in Composer, and then you assemble them in Casper Admin, you can then upload them in the JSS, and really most of the management takes place from there. So this is a dashboard within the JSS, and you can see that you can set up what are called smart computer groups, and these groups are actually groups within the Jamf software server or in the Casper Suite database that will actually automatically update as devices check into the inventory. So say you set up a smart group that says, show me all devices that are unencrypted in my environment. As devices start checking into the inventory, let's say they do it every 15 minutes, that is configurable. They say, hey, I'm not encrypted. That group will then be updated. You can then see how many computers are unencrypted in your environment. In this example, we have 3. And then you can click on that right from your dashboard to see which computers are unencrypted. As you deploy updates and policies and packages and different things like that, you can see the progress of those getting deployed out to your user population, which is another big advantage of the dashboard in the JSS. You also have the ability to search the inventory, so any computers that are in your environment, you can search for computers, applications, so I can also search by application version. Here's all the different applications and various different versions in this particular test JSS. I can search by user or computer name. In this case, I'm just going to search for go back here. That was applications once again. Search for computers. Once I click on a computer, then I can see everything about this Mac pertaining to hardware, operating system. I can bind Macs to Active Directory. So Casper does integrate with LDAP and directory services, and that can be pulled in and associated with the device. Casper integrates with GSX or AppleCare, so that purchasing information and warranty information can be pulled in and reported on. A lot of other things, and you can also add custom inventory attributes as well with scripting. So you can have scripts submitted to the binary on the devices, and as they check in, they can submit custom inventory fields on top of what is already here. In addition to this, I talked about smart computer groups. Here's an example of show me any devices in my environment where disk encryption is not enabled. I can choose from a list of criterion. Anything within the inventory I can scope this report to, and then as computers match the criteria that I've defined, this smart group will automatically get updated. So here are all the smart groups and the number of devices that are in each of these smart groups. These groups can then be utilized to scope deployments to, which is very powerful because you can say, automatically encrypt any devices in my environment that are unencrypted that meet these certain requirements, or update these computers with various different pieces of software if they don't have the right versions on them. So a lot of power behind under the hood there. When it comes to licensed software records, you can set up licensed software records in the Casper Suite. Again, we're able to see which applications are on each or pieces of software on each device as they check in into the inventory, and we can see what versions they're using. And we can see the licensing information on those. So this will automatically update the number of licenses in use. And so you can easily see a dashboard of how many licenses do I have, how many are in use, am I underutilizing, not overutilizing, do I need to take away or add some? And it's a great way to kind of manage the licenses in your environment. So if you dig into one of these, if there were any licenses, you'd be able to see them. In this case, I don't have any, but that's how that looks. Restricted software, this is another really good capability to have. Let's say you want to restrict things that you find inappropriate or they're not compliant in your environment. You can actually restrict things like, in this case, uTorrent. You can restrict the by exact process name, and then you can either be notified when any user installs this particular runs this particular process, or you can kill the process. You can go as far as deleting the application. Be very careful with that if you do have the Casper Suite, because that can be very dangerous, but very powerful capability. This is also used by a lot of IT administrators to block operating system updates while software is tested before users are allowed to update. Casper also supports configuration profiles, so there's anything in the MDM spec that is available via configuration profile can be found here for the most part. Passcodes, configuring network settings, VPN, directory settings, restrictions, all sorts of things can be defined here and then scoped either to every device in the environment or to departments, buildings, or anything, any of these smart groups. So as we talked about earlier, you could scope these to smart groups as well. The policy engine is really where we go with the Casper Suite beyond just configuration profiles and just App Store app deployment. You can actually build, as we've talked about, packages via the Casper Suite, assemble them, and then deploy them, update them via policies. We integrate with Apple Software Update Server, or you can also use a default update server in your environment. You can have scripts run, you can install printers, you can set up local account management accounts, you can enforce File Vault 2 encryption, also escrow recovery keys in your environment. So a lot of different capabilities there with the policy engines. This is where really the best-of-breed tool can go very far above and beyond a standard MDM, for example, because you do have a binary agent on the devices that this policy engine can speak directly to and do a lot of advanced things by doing that. Also support the ability to distribute eBooks and PDFs and different things like that, both internal and external, and they can be scoped to each user by smart groups. Same thing with App Store apps. Kind of running through this fast, running out of time a little bit. I do want to really quick show SelfService. So any of these policies, configuration profiles, any of the things that you build in the Jamf software server, you can either have them automatically deployed as changes occur in the inventory. You can manually deploy them to various different users based on their title, building, department, the status of their device, or the status of the user, or you can make them available by those same criterion in self-service. So a new way to do it, a lot of organizations are doing it today, is to set up have a standard set of applications and services and settings set up right off the bat when a user joins the network, but then offer most of the rest of the stuff in self-service. You can cache packages and allow these installations to occur very quickly, and then this allows users to just go and get the resources they need when they need them. Simple as that. So here are some featured applications. This is the actual Jamf software. This is the one that I use at work for myself. We have a new employee starter kit where they can set up things like email, crash plan backup. I can get HipChat if I want to use that. That's what we use internally as an IM tool. I can get books from HR, like orientation guides, various different things that pertain to me in my role. I can get various different pieces of content that are specific to me in my department. I can also run various different maintenance tasks and things like this. This particular easy button is provided by my IT group, so if my Mac's not running optimally, I can click on this and run it myself, and it'll actually fix disk permissions and flush cache and do different things like that. I don't even have to call IT. So this is a form of tier zero support that enables my IT team to support me without having to even touch my machine. I have printers that can update automatically based upon environmental variables and variables on my device. And a whole host of other things. Websites here on the left side, Just really a simple one-stop shop for users to go and get everything they need. And the great thing about this is, as an IT administrator, that everything a user installs from SelfService is something that you provided, you packaged, you created, you can trust, and will work well and is recommended in your environment. So again, Unplug Jamf Nation, great resource. You can see all the latest activity here. You can go there, you can see discussions, feature requests are taking place. There's an extensive knowledge base if you start using the Casper Suite. We have third-party products here that you can download so that you can help provide updates. And then there's a ton of functionality here that integrates very, very seamlessly into the Casper Suite. So don't have time to get into that. I apologize, but there's a lot of really powerful tools here. So just visit jamfnation.com and poke around, and you will see a lot of great resources. Another great place to find resources is jamfsoftware.com. Go to our resources page. Again, here's our library of webinars. So go and check those out. You can see things that we've already posted out there that have been recorded that pertain to a lot of these topics. And so I'm going to wrap it up here. Again, here's some recorded webinars that are on the webpage that I just showed, jamfsoftware.com/webinar. Ones that really pertain very well to a follow-up to this one, if you haven't seen these already, are the one on understanding your environment better with Apple device inventory, Mac deployment and imaging, and securing Macs with the Casper Suite. Also, the Apple deployment program one is really, really great. One done by Nick Thompson recently here at Jamf. Another excellent resource to learn more about best-of-breed Mac management.